This is Three Beards Media. Real talk, no filters, no scripts. From sports to culture, we say what others won't. Turn it up, lock in, because it all starts right now. Live from the AKC Andrew Downs Studios and powered by Revelton Distilling Company.
If you want to know where the storm rolls next, you gotta read the clouds over old Midwest. Every yard, every basket, every mat that's worn. You learn to see the future by tracking the storm. We're tracking the storm, watching it form. From Jack Trice's courage to the heroes yet born. Hilton lights shining like lightning in the night. Jack Trice's way, glowing in the stadium lights. From the sweat in the barn to the roar in the stands. Every Cyclone story's written in the land. Yeah, the path gets clearer with each legend swarm. We're keeping eyes on tomorrow by tracking the storm. Dwayne Crutchfield, pounding turf like rain. Big 8 Saturdays, driving through the pain. 2 years, rushing past 1,000 on the ground. Made the whole conference feel that thunder sound. Then Troy Davis hit the hole like a flash. Back to back, 2,000 turn records into ash. Heisman nights, but win or lose that day. The cyclone in his chest never blew away. Seneca rolled out, crowd holding its breath. The run cut like lightning through Texas red west 112.
That song always gets me.
Frogs. Yeah, that's
What's
good,
going
man.
on there, buddy?
That is so good. Yeah.
It's really great. Chris did a great job getting that ready to go. So, well, we're through Memorial Day weekend and through the Indy 500. The rest of the summer's over for me. It's that is quite the event. I know you were supposed to come down, had some things come up, couldn't get here and stuff.
I'll get there.
What a race! What an absolute race!
Man, you saw an epic race.
Yeah, that last pass happened right in front of us.
Wow,
it was right in front of it. It was so good. It's giving me goosebumps right now. It's crazy. If nobody's been to the Indy 500 or you haven't, you've got to go. It's so much more than the race. It's amazing. It is.
I remember you do that. I'm looking.
Speaking of amazing, how about our guest tonight?
Alex.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Alex. It'll be great to talk to him and pick his brain. And his experience was so different than yours or mine, being a native Iowan, because that was our home state. Now, for him, obviously being from California, but cultural differences. And what a teammate, man. He was just such a great teammate and friend.
Coming in and jumping in. Hey, let's jump him in right now.
Yeah.
There he is.
Hey, guys.
Hey, buddy.
Nice to be here.
Yeah.
Hey.
Live and in person from Pico Rivera, California.
Yep.
And by the way, happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Much obliged. Much obliged.
Taking time out of his day to come on his birthday and stepping away from his family just to sit down with his Cyclone family. And we were very appreciative of that, buddy.
Absolutely. And it's an honor to be here. So I appreciate you guys and Chris Shipley and Three Beards Media as well.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start, Kent? I mean, holy cow, we could go in a lot of different directions.
So, yeah, we could. I think, Alex, I guess we just, take us back a little bit to your earlier football career in high school and your journey, because before Iowa State, I think you were at Cal State Fullerton, I believe.
I was, yeah.
Yeah,
I was at Cal
prior
State
to
Fullerton.
that, take us a little bit back, and we'll probably interrupt you because Keith and I can't shut up. But we want to hear your story. We want to hear your story.
I had a great opportunity and a great high school experience. I went to a school, parochial school called St. Paul High School in Santa Fe Springs. And I came from the public system and went to the parochial system. And it was the most gratifying time. It was just kind of a turning point and gave me opportunity. But our high school had, in the 70s, was one of the elite high schools in the nation. And I decided, I need to come here and I need to go there and do some good things. And, I being at the right place at the right time and being able to compete, and with the high school there, I lost 2 games in high school. I lost my junior year and I lost 1 in my sophomore year. And then we went undefeated my senior year, 14-0. And out of the 14 teams, 10 of those teams were the top 25 in California. So we had our work cut out for us, but we did well. We were surrounded by a bunch of talent. I had a wide receiver named Andy Stankwitz, who is currently the head baseball coach at USC. And he could have went either way, football or baseball. He went baseball, went to Pepperdine. He played in the major leagues for about 10, 12 years or so. But the guy ran like a deer, and he made me look good. And, all I had to get the ball up in the air, and he ran underneath it. So, but we did well. We did well enough, so well that it gave us an opportunity to get to the next level, which Cal State Fullerton start knocking on my door. Now, I had about maybe 5 offers, and I remember that morning, letter of intent day, that all the universities were outside my mom's house, and they were waiting to see which decision I was going to make. So I was groomed, and I was kind of courted by a coach by the name of Steve Mariucci. And Steve, he's pretty well known. San Francisco guy and Detroit line guy, and I think he was Brett Favre's position coach, quarterback coach, and he did all the right things, said all the right things, and actually the man was super smart. He taught me a lot of things, so I decided to go to Cal State Fullerton, and Fullerton. Once I got to Fullerton, it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. I think I started the last 6 games of the year. And Mariucci ended up leaving to go to Louisville. He ended up going to Louisville. I said, well, one of the reasons why I came to Cal State Fullerton, because Steve Mariucci was kind of like mentoring me, and he, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be there, and I wanted him to teach me the things that he knew. And he decided to go to Louisville, and I said, well, this is not where I really want to be. I needed to start looking for something else. And before the transfer portals were going on, which is a big thing now, right?
You could have done that easily. You could have just followed him wherever you wanted to go with the new transfer portal rules, but you got to go a little different path. First, before you get there, how big were you when you got to Cal State Fullerton?
I was going to ask that. Yeah.
I was 6'1", 160 pounds soaking wet. And I'm telling you, it was, my biggest asset was the ability to throw the ball.
Yeah, right.
I had decent speed, but it wasn't like, a dual threat quarterback. I was a drop back quarterback, and I had to get the ball from point A to point B in a second. So that was my biggest asset. But yeah, I was only 160 pounds. It wasn't until I got to Iowa State and where I was introduced to a good weight program, a great weightlifting program. Tom Wilson.
Yeah,
Tom Wilson taught us a lot of stuff, yeah. And he taught us how to eat and build muscle and get faster, and your arm gets strong, and with all the things that we had to go through there. Right. So
Alex, did you play baseball in high school?
I did. I played 3 years at baseball.
Did you pitch?
I tried pitching, but our baseball coach was our running back coach from football, and I know he was looking out for me, so he didn't really want me to pitch. I played first base my entire career at St. Paul High School, and he didn't want me to really pitch. I think I pitched a couple games, and all I knew was fastball.
Did you ever get clocked?
You know what? We didn't really have clocks. I mean, we did, but no. I mean, we had several pitchers, myself and a gentleman named Casey Morales and Micah Geary. Those guys were throwing like 100-mile-an-hour fastballs. Those guys were, and those controlled fastballs. I would go out there on the mound, and I just had one speed, and that was it. I couldn't throw a curve. I could throw a curve, but it wasn't very consistent.
I mean, you had an arm.
Yeah.
You had. I'm gonna advance. We'll come back to this, but I remember with summer workouts, and Tom Wilson was leading us through the workouts. It was like midday, And we were out there running, we'd run 5 yards and then maybe 10, and then he'd go 8 yards. We were doing this thing, and it was just one of those Iowa hot days. And he said, if anybody can throw a baseball, we found a baseball on the turf. You remember this? He said, if anybody can throw a baseball,
very well. Yeah.
If anybody can throw a baseball from one end zone to the other, the workout's off. And Chris Washington, myself, we all tried, and you got up there and you just let it rip. And we walked off the field. He was like, shit, that's enough right there. So you had a huge arm.
We had a I remember it very well. We were in the stadium, and I remember, and the baseball team used to use our stadium for our field for practicing, and when they left one behind. So I remember that. He said, hey, if anybody can get that, I'm not sure if it was one side of one end zone to the other side. I thought distinctly remember going and throwing it over the stadium, and getting it out the stadium. And I'm not sure. Yeah. And so
I remember we walked off.
We walked off the field, because practice is over. And I don't know, we probably all went to the cave-in after that, but it was great. It was great. I remember those days. Yeah, but I tried to play baseball, and I tried asking to play for the Cyclones, and I got that. Those plans were shut down immediately, because playing football at a major university like Iowa State, you're practicing all year round. You got winter conditioning at State College. You got the summer league. You got the fall with normal game, and then you got spring. So we were constantly on the field, either training weightlifting or conditioning, running stadiums. We were there, and you remember those 5-6 o'clock in the morning winter conditioning at State. Those were brutal.
Just waking up is brutal.
So I didn't mean to sidetrack you there, Alex.
No, it's okay.
All right, you're in your freshman year. Mirich is leaving, going to Louisville. You're kind of opening up your ideas where you're wanting to go. I know Boise State was one of the schools that you were looking at, of course. Yeah. And then Iowa State kind of came into the picture when Jim Kreiner left Boise and came to Ames. Go ahead.
That's exactly what happened, Keith. Is that the coaches from Boise State were recruiting me when I was coming out of high school. The same coaches with Kreiner and Dahlquist and all of those coaches. And I ended up campaigning later on. Once I got done, and I made a decision that I was going to leave Cal State Fullerton. And you're under contract. That scholarship is a contract that you sign. So you have to get permission to get out of the contract in order to start talking to other schools. So
back then you did.
Yeah, back then you did. Now it's a little different because of the transfer portal. You can just get up and walk anywhere you go. But I ended up having a conversation after I got my release from Cal State Fullerton, and I reached out, and Jim Kreiner called me at home. They set up a recruiting trip, and I remember it was in April, and there was still snow on the ground, and I was staying at the Gateway and came out, and what impressed me the most was the stadium. The fact that it was really impressive from where I came from. So at Cal State Fullerton, I remember we actually had to push our portable stadiums. I think we had about 3,000 or 4,000 fans. We had more fans at high school than we did in my freshman year. But my sophomore year, it was great. My redshirt sophomore, when I decided to sign a letter of intent, it's hard enough to earn a scholarship, but to be fortunate to have earned 2 scholarships, I was blessed.
Yeah, I was. Now, who hosted you when you came in? I don't remember.
I don't know. I'm not sure if it was Dave Archer. It could have been one of those upperclassmen for sure. Yep. But I think it was Dave might have hosted me. But I remember we went to cave-in, and of course, I had that deer in the headlight look because, I come from East Los Angeles. I'm a man of color, and then I'm going into into Iowa. And as far as I remember, I didn't see too many Hispanics on campus. So, that. But I was blessed. I was
Yeah.
blessed to have that opportunity to start meeting people. And of course, when you're a redshirt sophomore, because I was a redshirted sophomore, you have to run the scout team, and you gotta practice against Chris Washington and Lester Williams and Greg Leiter and Steve, uh, who's the gentleman? Steve Little, and those
Yeah.
guys. Oh, and Berthas. All those guys were brutal. They pin their ears back, and they just rush you. But it gives you an opportunity. Makes you better, and it gave me an opportunity. I started watching Dave Archer, and watching the way he used to operate. He used to control the huddle, his cadence when he'd come up to the line of scrimmage, getting a pre-snap look. And he's always taught me, hey, find the free safety. That free safety would determine the coverage. And then you find out the difference between the cushions on the corners, see which way the secondary is going to rotate, and then you throw accordingly, because the majority of our pass plays were mirrored. Either two outs, two hitches, two slants. And you just pick the one with the best cushion.
We're gonna get into a little more in depth about that. I want to kind of take you back to maybe growing up in East LA.
Yeah.
Talk about that. I mean, you just talked about coming to Ames. I mean, it's lily white. I mean, and we had African American football players and basketball players and guys on the track team, but that was about it. There were no Hispanics except for Alex Giffords, who was from Mexico and Arizona. But I remember when you and I went out to eat in LA. Gosh, that had to be 5, 6, 7 years ago. And we sat down. We were talking about, and I'm like, I was kind of like, I felt bad that I didn't recognize just the cultural change that you had to go through. I mean, you fit right in, like you were born in Des Moines, but you weren't, and there were some challenges there. Why don't you talk a little bit about
the culture shock was, the weather, the extreme weather. I mean, I get there and it's still snowing. You got 10 degrees, 15 degrees. Sometimes it's negative, 15 degrees wind chill factor. And I'm come from sunny California. Right now it's 85 degrees here, and you go from one extreme to the other. And to be able to adjust, because you have to be able to adjust. You have to be able to adjust to the climate, and of course the culture. Coming in, I'm a man of color, Hispanic, going into a predominantly white state. But I tell you, Iowans embrace me. And just like anything else, if you do well enough, you throw more touchdowns than you throw interceptions, they're going to embrace you. And I think I remember Gene Dalk was telling me, if you throw an interception, those Jim Beam bottles are going to start coming out of the stand. Yeah.
Back then, you could bring them in.
I was just fortunate. I was fortunate enough to throw more touchdowns than I did interceptions.
You did.
Yeah, but it was nice. It was great. The Iowans, they embraced me. I met with a lot of people. We had a program called Home Away from Home program, in where we were assigned a family, and we would have dinner at their home from once a week. So I had Bill and Barb Hauk. Barb Hauk was Max Yerk's secretary, and Bill was a car salesman. And I would go there once a week. We would have home cooking, because the object of that program was to not allow you to be homesick. And you have these people, you have this family to embrace you. They bring you in and give you a home cooked meal and make you feel at home, so you don't get that that I-35 look. Yeah, and it was great, because I saw Barb Hauk almost every day, every time we go into the Olsen building. She was a great family, and Bill, and it was just a great situation. It was a great program. So it made me a little bit more comfortable, and it gave me a chance to, be calm and be able to compete and instead of having to worry about having to come home all the time.
Well, then your brother came out.
Yeah,
Johnny lived in Ames half the year, didn't he? Damn near about.
He did. He took a leave of absence from work. He came to live with me, and he wanted. Well, the thing is, back then, he was flying every week, come see our games, and he was flying he fly to Texas A&M. We played against Texas A&M.
Yep.
He fly to Nebraska. He loved it, and he still does. Still does that. He still hangs out with you guys. Yeah,
sure he does.
And the fact that he was coming every weekend, he said, you know what? I'm going to take a leave of absence. I think it's going to be less expensive in the long run if I move to Ames, and then all I have to do is just drive to Nebraska, which is 2-3 hours away. Drive to Kansas or Missouri, and he made it work.
Yeah, he made it work.
He was embraced as well.
Yeah, man. He was one of us, man. I mean, he still is today. He comes back for Letter Winners Weekend like he freaking played with us, which was great. I mean, it was awesome.
He goes back. He goes back. He goes to. Didn't he go to Indy?
Yeah.
Indianapolis 500.
I was out in California, and he said, I've never been to the Indy 500, and I'm like, well, why don't you come out next year? And son of a bitch, he did. And
he did. He loved it.
He got out here.
I tell you, all my Cyclone brothers have embraced him like one of us, and it's a blessing that he can just get up and go, because he's retired now, and he can just go, and he'll stop by Greg Butts' house, and he'll go to your house, and he's like one of the boys.
He definitely is. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So Alex, when you talked about the weather, and I know we had training table. What about like just life, like food? I mean, because I remember your mom used to send freeze-dried tamales.
Yep.
And goodness gracious.
And chorizo.
Yeah, chorizo.
They would pack it with dry ice and send it to me. It was great, because we had training table, and we ate however much we wanted. From what I understand, they have now nutrition stands throughout the university, and you can go in and get yourself a protein bar or an apple or maybe a smoothie or something like that. We didn't have that, but we did have training table 3 times a day, and we ate pork chops and steak and ham and all the veggies and everything. We had all all the things that you wanted to eat in order to build muscle. So that's what they wanted to do, was keep us healthy. But my mom, they would never. I didn't see any stores there at the time. Back then, there was very few Mexican restaurants, but authentic Mexican restaurants. So my mom decided, we're going to send you something, send you a care package, and we'll freeze dry them. I was able to share them with a lot of my teammates. Yeah.
I don't know if you knew this or not, but your mother sent me 36 tamales every year until like 1994. And then
my goodness.
Yeah, she would send me a box of dry ice tamales every year. There'd be 36 of them.
Yeah.
And then I moved and then lost track or whatever. It was fantastic.
No, out of all the stories, I'm now officially jealous that you got tamales, and that's might be the one thing I'm completely jealous about.
That's enough.
I tell you, my mom had a big heart. Yeah. She had a big heart, and she was, after I left Iowa State, I ended up, hooking on or going on to training camp with various teams. And I was talking to Chris earlier about that. I actually hit 4 leagues: CFL, Arena Football, NFL, and the World League. At some point, I was in camp with all 4 of those leagues. So, and then my parents were still actively involved with Iowa State. So it was great. It was a great experience for them too, because you got my dad was 5'5", 100 and nothing pounds, and And then my mom they were the only ones in the stands at pregame. Everybody else was tailgating. They were the only ones there. So, of course, we knew where our tickets were at, our comp tickets. But they were there cheering us on. When it was cold, they would layer up with clothes. And when it was hot, and they dressed accordingly. So they were there every game my junior and senior year.
Yep.
So they had a great experience as well. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, Alex, so you had and I don't want to jump ahead, Keith, or anything.
No, you're good. Keep going.
They get to here I think I remember correctly, your debut was in Iowa City. I think that game we started the game, and we all love Alan Hood. And Alan started the game as quarterback, and I think the game got away. They were really good. The game got away. Alan had a tough day. We all had a tough day. But you came in, I want to say, was it the second half, Alex? And really kind of that's where you showed right there. You're the quarterback for the next, 3 years? And you proved it right there. I think you and Tracy had a nice afternoon there, too, you and Tracy Henderson. So can you talk a little bit about that? Just that you weren't the starter right away, and you had to come in and show and prove the moment. Yeah,
and the thing is, we're competing. Alan and I were competing, and if it's a tie, the tie goes to the upperclassmen, and which was fine. I just wanted to make sure that I was supporting him, and stayed on standby. And of course, the first thing I came out when that was the first game I ever experienced. You go in pregame, big stadium, maybe there's 10,000 fans, during pregame. You go back, make some last minute adjustments. You come out and there's 76,000 fans at Kinnick Stadium. That alone was culture shock to me. I was like, I was stage fright. I was like, oh my God, this is what big time college football is all about. And of course, you put your time in. We struggled a little bit, and then they gave me an opportunity. I believe at halftime they told me that I was going to be starting the second half, and then all I did was that I did what they trained me to do, what they taught me to do. Follow your progression, and make the quick reads. Take what the defense gives you. Of course, we had Jason Jacobs and Tommy Davis. We had those guys, that were back there. So the running game was great. And then Tracy, of course, was there. And I'm not sure. I think Robbie Miner was on the other side. And Dave Smoke was at tight end at the time. So we did some good things. And just happened to be at the right place at the right time.
I think Dave and Tracy were both all Big 8.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And we had the Red Helmet Award. And I believe they were one of the first recipients of that Red Helmet Award.
Never understood that.
I
Here's my best player. He's right here.
Yeah.
The
bullseye on you.
Yeah, right.
The bullseye, yeah. So, but it was super, Kent. It was a most electrifying day of my life, and to come in and I believe I threw 3 touchdown passes and through with Tracy and I believe Tommy Davis on a flat route in the red zone. But yeah, it was great, and then I just kept competing to keep my job. Yeah.
I'm gonna go a little bit different direction, and Ken, I'm gonna go to your and my coaching background, and you got a guy that throws seeds like he does. You got Tracy Henderson, and Robbie Miner, and yourself, and Greg Butts, and Curtis Livingston. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to try to knock heads with Tony Casillas and all these other guys that are in the Big 8. I'm going to spread their asses out, and I'm going to let them. Who's the worst defender on which guy, and let's go pick them apart. You should have been throwing for 5,000 yards a year that year back then. I mean, there was no way we were going to move the ball, running the ball on those guys like we did. I just think about the athletes that we had at wide receiver.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Keith,
2 wide receivers. I mean,
yeah. The thing is, Keith, on that, we used to drop back 7 steps.
I know.
You're asking the offensive linemen to sustain their blocks Well, I dropped back 7 steps and then throw a post corner. We should have probably been throwing 5 steps, get the ball out. Get the ball.
You should have had your
before
ass in the shotgun like we did the year before or 2 years before with Dave Archer, and pick the defense apart in the Big 8. I mean, what did Tracy have? 15 catches and 230 yards against Nebraska because we're spreading out. And don't get me started. It just drives me crazy when you got an arm like what you had.
Yeah.
And the athletes that were out there Kent, what linebacker was going to cover you in the slot? None. That's the answer. I'll just answer it for you. You know, it wasn't going to happen. Imagine Butts' big ass out there as a wide receiver at 6'3" and 205 pounds. He'd have owned those people. And then
and you guys had great speed. Kent, you had outstanding speed. Butsy had outstanding speed. You know, we had side adjustments. We were, if we would have been in the shotgun position, we would have been able to do better things because the Big 8, you know, it was either Nebraska or Oklahoma, and they pinned their ears back. And I'm trying to get 7 steps back, and those guys got a head start. They're beating me by the time I pull up and hitch and throw. You know, they're already on me. So. You know, with those kind of guys, with the Tony Casillas type guys, you got to do some boot and waggle and get outside the tackles, and you got to be able to, avoid the rush.
Yeah.
So, and then do something quick slants, quick out, side adjustments. You know, try to come in. They want to come in the corner on a cloud or sky, and you do a side adjustment. That's how you beat teams like Oklahoma and Nebraska.
The Big 8 was built different than in those days too. It was either eye or wishbone. That was what was winning the conference. And if you're going to try to line up and play that chess match with them, which, I remember in the coaching part, like the wishbone, everybody knew what Oklahoma was going to do. Everybody in the stadium knew they were going to do 3 things. The problem is they were so damn good at it. Nobody could stop them. So you try to play that game with them. And that's a tough one. So I do agree, but I coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? So
I mean, I get it. I just you run the offense and defense by the personnel that you have, not by what you know necessarily. If you don't know it, go learn it. But
you got to be disciplined. You got to be real disciplined to beat to beat the wishbone. You got the dive. And you got the quarterback, and then you got the pitch man. So
I ran that too, and it's a difficult offense to stop. I mean, when it's run correctly, it's pretty hard to stop. But
with Nebraska, that Turner Gill, Irving Fryar, and Mike Rozier, and then everybody behind Mike Rozier, every running back behind him could probably start at any university in the nation. They were loaded with running backs.
They were.
Yeah.
Alex,
go ahead.
For several years, I believe you held a lot of records at Iowa State. Now the way that people are putting up the air numbers now, but you held quite a few records, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I had quite a bit. And total yards and pass efficiencies, and I was just blessed to have started there for 3 years. It's good. You started developing. You started building up statistics, and it was just great. It was just an opportunity that I had, and to be able to be in the record books, and it couldn't happen to better people. The Seneca Wallaces and the Sage Rosenthal, and of course the great Brock Purdy, and those guys did super well over there. So I held it for a little bit, and I'm proud of it, and I'm a proud Cyclone.
Yeah, man. For sure.
Yeah.
You had some old linemen that played in front of you that I know love you and you love them. I just wanted to, if you can talk a little bit about those. You had the Kevin Max Eggleston. Bruce Reimers was Bruce there before you or after?
No, Bruce was there. Bruce was there when I got there.
Okay, very good. There were some great old linemen.
Yeah, let me tell you about Bruce. When I got there, after they were seniors, like he was with that group with Chris Washington. The last practice, they were able to hit the one-man sled, and I remember Bruce. hitting it so hard that one man's sled flipped all the way around, and then he ran. It's kind of almost like one of those scenes from Rudy where he hit it and then he ran into the showers, and that's just shows you how strong he was. He was a huge man. He was a huge man.
And he had quite a career in the NFL.
Yeah.
13 years, I believe, in the NFL.
Yeah.
He sat right next to Munoz.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was down at a coaching clinic at Cincinnati Bengals, and Bruce was there, and Anthony Munoz, and that whole offensive, Brian Blados, and can't remember the other guys.
Dave Remington was part of that.
Yep. Nebraska
as
center.
well.
Yeah, Bruce had to probably be the most physical football player. I think about coaching and playing. You don't really realize at the time when you look back, he was probably the most physical football player I've ever seen. Just his physicality as an O-lineman he's just tough. He scared the shit out of me too.
So Jim McNally was the O-line coach for the Bengals, and I was sitting with him after a meeting. And he thought that the best offensive lineman that he saw coming out of Iowa State back then was Ted Clapper. And Ted didn't want to play, didn't want to go any farther. He owns that company in Ankeny right now, but he thought Ted Clapper had as much ability as anybody in the NFL.
And their coach was a hell of a coach, Jim Williams. You think about Carl Nelson, Ted, you got Bruce, Kevin Eggleston. You got a lot of guys big.
Ryan Neal.
Right. Yeah. Oh God, those guys.
Ted Meyer.
Yep.
Go with Kevin. Kevin. I saw Kevin when I first saw Kevin, 6'9", 340 pounds. I got, oh my God. I didn't think they grew him that big. He was huge. And he took care of business on the football field. And then he was a great teammate outside the football field.
Oh God, he's
super nice
an amazing teammate. I'll tell you a little story about Kevin Eggleston. And he
hold on one second.
Kent,
second. Remember, if you're going to tell stories about Kent or Kevin, I'm going to bring Kevin on, and he's going to tell stories about you in high school.
Oh yeah, that's okay. I know. Oh God, I don't know if we want that. These are good stories. Kevin will embellish.
Speaking of Kevin, he commented on Twitter and said hated playing softball with Alex. He waited to the last second to throw runners out at about 115 miles per hour.
That is true.
I don't think Kevin knows how to comment on the stream, so he just sent a tweet out. So.
He was a super huge target, and it was true. I played shortstop, and Jeff Hornacek played third base. We had Lefty Moore, Jason Jacobs, and with Kevin, when he go up to bat, that bat looked like a toothpick, and he'd go up there and just tap it, and that ball went out the stadium. And I tell you, we were comprised of football players and basketball players, and we were in an open league league at the time, and we were competing with people that were sponsored to play. They were professional players, and we would beat them. And I think we made it to the last tournament on the A division. And but like Jason Jacobs, the guy would hit it. He'd hit it so high that the wind would drift outside the stadium, and hit a home run all the time. But yeah, he's right. Kevin's right. I would wait till the last minute, and maybe almost like a taunting. It's taunting and let the runner run a little bit.
So Kevin Eggleston, 6'9", back in probably coming in probably 310, and I don't know if you guys recall, you probably wouldn't have been there because you're just a couple years behind me. The coaches took us through 2 days. They took us to the pool, or was it in Beyer Hall or State Gym or wherever, Beyer? They took us swimming, and Kevin Max could get on the high dive and do like these backflips and gainers and all at 6'9", 310. And I remember all the coaches just up there in a window and just watching. And it was just a show. He'd do double flips and all this stuff at his size. And he was agile. He was an athlete. And at his high school in Memphis, Missouri, a small town, maybe 2,000 people, he played on the high school tennis team. And he was just athletic. And the nicest guy in the world. And he's going to tell lies about me if he's ever on here. I'm just telling you, he was really nice. He was really nice. And I love him to death. But he was just so athletic.
Hey, Ship, respond to Kevin, and let's get him on here like the 21st of June.
Will do.
Super nice guy.
Yep.
Super nice. He took care of business on the football field. He was a huge mountain man. Yeah.
Yep.
So Alex, what about you? We talked about your debut. What game stands out to you, either on a personal level or on the experience level, or just there's probably more than one. You can name them, but are there some games, there's some moments that stand out to you on the field?
Yeah, we played that one year against Oklahoma under the lights for the first time.
First night game. Yeah, first night game.
First night game ever. He brought in the mobile lighting system and playing the number one team in the nation. And I tell you, we came close. We lost 12-10, but we probably should have won. And I tell you, it was that close. But the excitement and I remember we ended up throwing a touchdown pass to Kurt Thomas. Yeah, Kurt Thomas at the end zone, the corner of the end zone. But if you see that play, it was a reverse, and we were supposed to throw to the onside, and KT was on backside. He just did a backside. He was kind of like a safety valve, and those guys from Tony Casillas and Reed and Dante Jones and those Bosworth guys, they were flooding the front side. So I had no choice. They kind of turned me around, and I happened to see KT on the corner of my eye, and I didn't actually see him catch it. I saw when I threw it, and I was throwing towards him, and then those guys tackled me. But I heard the crowd, and that crowd, the stands were shaking. The stands were shaking. So that was one of the best experience I had playing quarterback. It was great. We had him on the ropes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That game was electric. It was different because there were two games I remember. The first time we played Iowa, that was a different game. And then that night game, it was just different. There was a different energy because it was the first night game against the number one ranked team. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and those guys were, those guys in Oklahoma, they were loaded with talent on both sides of the ball. And I remember get tackled. I think Bosworth hit me, and I got tackled, and I'm on the Oklahoma sidelines, and I get up and I see this number 18, little scrawny number 18 from Oklahoma. The guy ended up Troy Aikman. That was him on the sidelines, and I was like, I can remember seeing him. And I got up, of course I get up and go to the huddle, but and then the rest is history. He ended up transferring to UCLA and then did some great things with the Cowboys. But
broke his ankle versus Miami, and then we played him the next week.
Right.
With Jamel Holloway.
Yeah.
And we went down there and their asses down there. They won the
Danny
national
Bradley, I believe. Thing. Yeah, Danny Bradley.
Danny Bradley was in 84, then 85. Jamel Holloway, because Aikman broke his ankle the week before versus Miami.
Oh,
and then we went down there not knowing what, we had no idea what they were going to run.
Right.
Well, they came out in the wishbone offense and ran for like 26,000
a gazillion yards. A gazillion yards, yeah. Jamel, true freshman, came out of Banning High School. Yeah. And then I ended up seeing Jamel at Vince Ferragamo, ex-quarterback from the Rams, used to have a quarterback camp out here at Cal State Fullerton, and he would bring in guys like myself and Jamel, and they teach them the running part of the game. I would teach them the passing, throwing part of the game, and Jamel and I became pretty close. We'd go out and have dinner after that, and it was nice. Jamel was a legend, and he ran that wishbone to the T.
So you got the night game. What other experiences stand out for you?
Well, we played against. This is a shocker, but there was a couple of games that we were down by 6, and going into the last play of the game, and I think one of those games was Vanderbilt, and I threw Tracy ran a skinny post, hit him on stride, and he went in for the touchdown, kicked the extra point, and we won the game. So we beat a SEC team. But that was it was exciting because it came down to the last play of the game. It was like, when you win a game on the last play of the game, it's always a plus. It's always exciting. So it was nice, a great opportunity. Wichita State, I think we played. And then, of course, we played against Missouri when I broke my ankle. Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And I think we
was in 85 then we beat Okie State at our place.
Right.
Yes.
With Thurman and Rusty Hilger.
Rusty Hilger and Hartley Dykes.
Hartley Dykes put 6 schools on probation. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Remember flying into Oklahoma State in Stillwater, and they'd have to back the plane out of the hayfield or the wheat field because the runway was so short. And then you pull up and you go to the stadium and you look at the parking lot and it looked like a Corvette car dealership. It was, I mean, shit. They had their NIL back then.
Yeah, before the NIL was
right.
I thought, Alex, you're talking about that Oklahoma State game when they had Thurman Thomas and Hartley Dykes. That would have been my senior year of the last game.
Yep.
And that was so cold. They came up. You know what it's like being in the culture shock, because that was like late November. It was so cold. They did not want to play.
No.
They were ranked, what, 4th or 5th?
Yeah.
They were ranked high.
And we were cold. I remember Frank Randall handing me some portable heaters. You break them, shake them up, and then they gave me a special jersey with pockets in it. And then, of course, that little fanny pack in the front to try to keep you warm that had goose down material in it. But all of that stuff, this was all new to me. I said, how are we going to be able to throw the ball? Well, you keep your hands in where the heaters are at and bring them out when it's time to snap the ball. But we got the ball up in the air.
We did.
Even though it was cold. And that wind coming from the north and south at Jack Trice Stadium, that was brutal, trying to cut that ball through that wind. You got to keep the nose ball, the trajectory of the ball has to go down. You got to keep the nose low in order to cut through that wind.
I think it was 15-10, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That game?
Yeah.
Didn't you, speaking of cold and throwing a ball, whose hand did you slice open with the threads?
I think it was either Mike Posey, and I know for sure it was Danny Gant as well. I think a couple of them. So you got new balls. Those balls come with new threads. They're like razors. And before the Newman gloves came out, those guys had to go out there and catch the balls. And I remember Danny Gant. Yeah, Danny Gant came up one time and just the threads kind of hit him right on the web of his hand, and he had to get some stitches. And I think Mike Posey was another one that.
Well, and you were throwing with some velocity, Alex. I mean, it's not like you were lobbing them in there because like just go back to you could throw that 6 route, that dig, that square in people dig 6, whatever.
Yeah. You
could throw that sucker. I mean, a laser. Absolute laser.
Those are great, and again, I was back there far enough and in order to see everything was kind of like developing, you start reading the defense and then
it was like a 12-yard drop.
Yeah. 7 steps. I still have nightmares with that, but that's 6 route, the 7 route, that post corner, you time it out and you hit it in between the corner and safety, you hit it in that open sweet spot. But you had to get the ball from point A to point B on a laser because you got a lot of defensive free safeties that can cover some field. Yeah, so you got to get that ball there. You got to get the ball on the corner route or the out route, and I was blessed with the ability to throw the ball.
Well, we're at about halfway point. We're going to kind of transition from your time at Iowa State into your post-Iowa State days. And if we want to sink back into some other things that you remember, that's great. But before we do that, we got to go pay some bills. So we're going to take a 3 or 4 minute break here.
Okay.
Honor our sponsors, and then we'll come back. We'll start talking about post-Iowa State.
Yes, sir.
Freight brokers and shippers. Are you tired of drowning in emails, spreadsheets, and endless manual work? Introducing USFX, your AI-powered private freight command center. Simply email your PDF rate confirmation or bill of lading to intake@us-fx.com. In seconds, our AI captures every detail, sets up your shipment, verifies carriers, and launches a live digital workflow. No IT setup, no delays. Build your private carrier network instantly. Send bids only to your trusted partners and watch real-time tracking handle everything from pickup to delivery. Cut the friction, boost your margins, scale with ease. US-FX, the smarter way to move freight. Visit us-fex.com today and get your free demo. Start transforming your operation.
In the heart of Des Moines, one name stands above the rest. Step inside, where tradition still matters. Warm, familiar, unmistakably Iowa, where every guest is welcomed like family. Service that's personal and never rushed. Fresh starts made daily. Iowa beef, hand-seasoned. Guided by fire, built on flavor. Served with pride. A bar as bold as the menu. Featuring the old-fashioned we're known for. A place that stays with you long after the night ends. Iowa Beef Steakhouse, 1201 East Euclid Avenue, Des Moines. Steak done right.
Let's be honest, pizza is something almost every family enjoys. You're already grabbing one at the store, so why not choose the best tasting pizza that also supports a cause we all care about? That was the challenge behind We Will Pizza. Create the ultimate frozen pizza for Cyclone fans. Big flavor, bold toppings, and options for everyone, including gluten-free choices that don't sacrifice taste. And if you haven't tried it yet, the real MVP? The breakfast pizza. Perfect for early kickoffs, tailgates, or watch parties when Hilton Magic or Jack Trice Energy is calling. Every bite helps benefit Iowa State student athletes, so your game day spread does more than just taste amazing. It gives back. We Will Pizza. Made for Cyclone fans, built for tailgates, and ready whenever you are. We will, you will, Cyclones will.
Buying or selling a home is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's why choosing the right real estate team matters. The Jenny Farrell team with RE/MAX Concepts has been helping families across the Des Moines metro find the right home since 1998. Born and raised right here in the community, Jenny understands the neighborhoods, the market, and what truly makes a house feel like home. Whether you're buying your first home, upgrading your space, or preparing to sell, the Jenny Farrell team provides expert guidance every step of the way, from market analysis and listings to negotiations and closing. Their consultative approach means you'll feel confident, informed, and supported throughout the entire process. Jenny Farrell Team, RE/MAX Concepts. Call or text 515-779-7500. Visit jenniferfarrell.remax.com. Experience you can trust. Results you can move into.
Not every animal gets a fair shot. But that's exactly what Animal Lifeline of Iowa is here to change. Since 1986, they've been stepping in for the ones who need it most. Injured, abused, orphaned, and special needs cats and dogs across Iowa. This isn't just a shelter, it's a lifeline. As Central Iowa's only no-kill shelter dedicated to special needs animals, they provide life-saving care, rehabilitation, and the opportunity for every animal to find a forever home, no matter how long it takes. But here's the deal. They can only save as many lives as the community supports. So get involved. Donate online. Hit up the Animal Lifeline thrift store, where every purchase fuels their mission. Or, better yet, find your next best friend and adopt. Because every tail wag, every purr, starts with someone like you. Animal Lifeline of Iowa, where we provide much-needed TLC and a safe space until they find their home.
All right. I guess it was like 5 minutes. So
yeah, more sponsors.
Hey, I got a question for you, Alex, and I'm going to kind of throw this one at you. And you can politely or tell me to go to hell, with whichever way you want to do it. But I saw there was a post in there with one of the posts I put on Facebook about you being on a show, and one of the gals on there called you Beetle. What the hell is that all about?
Okay, so when I was born in 1964, when the Beatles were at their peak, and I was born, kid you not, with hair down to my shoulders already when I came out of the womb. So I had a lot of hair. And so the nurse that was there asked my mom, he looks like he's one of the Beatles, and it stuck. And for that gal that said that she's my cousin, and my mom actually babysat her for the first till she was a senior in high school. And so they know me as Beetle. That's everybody that knows me while I was a childhood knows me as Beetle, and that stems from the 1964 when I was born, and the Beatles were at the peak of their.
How the hell did we not know that?
I had no idea. It's
the 40 years after that.
Yeah,
you hide from us.
And not too many people, called me that. Of course, my immediate family didn't call me that, and well, they did. But when I was in Iowa, they always called me Alex. My sister would call me Alex, and but my sister would call me Beetle on the down low. She would always call me. So it was always that was my name. That was my nickname. So
all right.
And still some people that knew me still call me that.
Learn something new again. So
yes,
there's
sir.
Another clip for you, Chris.
Hey, before we move on, can I ask for a little story here? Because I think it's good. Alex, have you ever pheasant hunted in Iowa?
I tried. I tried. And I tell you, Kent, that was another culture shock to me. I was blessed. Kent, you invited me over for Thanksgiving. You had an opportunity to meet your family. Mom and Dad were great. And then you guys decided, hey, let's go pheasant hunting. Well, I don't even know what a pheasant was. And of course, I didn't know what I was looking for. And that was, as we talked earlier, I think your dad handed me a slingshot instead of a 22 or a shotgun because he didn't want me to hurt myself because I just didn't know. But I did attempt to go pheasant hunting while I was in Bloomfield, Iowa.
You did. Well, you were snowed in. You came down. We went pheasant hunting. We went to the American Legion, which is a little bar. You went down and everybody. You were just so nice talking to everybody. And so you talk about culture shock. It was also for just for you to come to Bloomfield and be a part of that and see all that. I remember. So you'd never really been. You've been to Ames, Des Moines.
Yeah,
but you hadn't been to rural Iowa much. Maybe Parkersburg, Bloomfield, and then we had a lot of Amish down there. And I remember we drove by an Amish schoolhouse.
Yeah.
And then you asked me to stop the car, and you wanted to try to go out and pet one of the cows.
Oh my goodness!
It's like, we don't need to pet a cow.
You can't pet a cow.
But you were so delightful and so genuine, and everyone just loved having you there. And I think there was a terrible blizzard or something, and you just were just so delightful.
Yeah.
So I just watching.
That was at Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, yeah.
Was that the year that the cross country team
might have been
went down?
That was in '85. It was.
Yeah.
It was in '85.
Because that was at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And because I was in Springfield with KT.
Yeah.
And we just got out before the ice hit, and then we heard about the plane crash.
Yeah.
And you were just delightful, Alex. You were just, everybody just had a wonderful impression and be there and with our family. And I just remember the pheasant hunting and the cows and the Amish and the American Legion Hall. It was just great.
I remember eating turkey. What is it?
Deer jerky?
Deer jerky.
Yeah.
Deer jerky there. I remember down in the family room and you had different heads of
deer
animals that were deer that were there. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I remember your mom having a love for dogs.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. And she just was a blessing because I have the same love for them. I see dogs out in the street and I want to bring them home. And I tell you, it was when I saw that, it was like, oh man, I want to do that because I'm a firm believer that God brought animals to us to teach humans unconditional love. And every time I see a dog at the dealership, I make sure I gravitate towards it. Yeah. So I remember your mom, having a love for dogs.
I'll tell her that.
Absolutely. Tell her I say hello as well.
I will, Alex. I will.
Absolutely. And Bloomfield, Iowa, I'm not sure what the population was at the time.
2,700.
Oh my goodness. I was going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say 5,000, but yeah.
You could add Parkersburg and Bloomfield together and you don't get 5,000.
Right.
Everybody embraced me, and I tell you, I felt home, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
You bet, buddy.
That's awesome. So you get down with Iowa State in 86, fall of 86 was your last year.
Yeah. Fall of 86.
And professional ranks were calling.
Yeah. You know, the thing
Walk us through that.
Yeah. The thing is, Keith, Kent, you know, our senior year, Keith, coaching staff, the entire coaching staff was gone. So we didn't have a whole lot of marketing or a lot of people marketing for us. So we had to kind of like fend for ourselves. After the football season, gentlemen, and this is a great Iowa State linebacker that came calling Matt Blair. So he called me, he says, hey, I'm going to be getting into the sports representation business. And I ended up signing with him. And he made some calls. We had a pro day at Iowa State, you know, where we can, you know, go out there and we had a bunch of pro scouts there and try to hook up with one of the teams. So I wasn't drafted.
Alex, I got to interrupt you real quick. We got somebody wants to come on and say hi.
Yeah. Well.
Hello.
Hey, honey, Pop is listening to something, okay?
Look at that.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. Let's see him, buddy. There he is.
Johnny.
Oh, look at my God.
Oh my.
How you guys doing?
Oh.
We're doing well.
I don't see the scotch. I don't see the cigars. What's going on?
Yeah, we're behaving.
We're behaving today.
Unbelievable. Speaking of the devil. Hey,
get your face on the camera there, Johnny.
Hey, I'm trying to hear.
All right.
Oh. You haven't changed.
How you doing, brother?
I'm good.
Good. Yeah.
How old are you now?
Oh, I'm a young 62.
I know you're catching up to me because I'm going backwards.
You've been backwards all your life.
Thanks a lot. Hey, where's my headphones? Where's my headphones?
I don't know. We forgot to send them to you, I guess.
Hey, Johnny, I was telling Keith and Kent that this is so much more special because I've been to school. We've known each other. I've known Keith and I've known Kent my entire Iowa State career. And here we are 41 years later, still keeping in touch.
I hear you, brother.
Yeah.
Gotta wait for September 25th.
That's right. Sir. You're going to be there too, right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're having a great time. You're not in New York now, right, Johnny?
Yeah, I'm in New York.
Yeah. Opposite, both on both sides of the coast.
So I'm going to apply for probably from Newark to Des Moines and back.
Good luck with that one.
Well, it's a direct flight.
Oh. Yeah.
But the thing is, they don't. Allegiant doesn't fly on certain days, so it's almost like I got to leave on a Friday and then get there come back on a Monday. They don't come back on Sunday.
All right.
Wow.
Ken, how you doing, Ken?
Good. I'm doing great, Johnny. You haven't changed, man.
I see your fishing pictures. Awesome. I'm jealous.
I'm a real good fisherman. Just ask me.
Oh, that's great. What about fly fishing?
You're also certified pilot, right?
No, I'm not a pilot. No.
Oh, not. You're just up there. Okay.
Yeah. No.
You look like it when I saw you in the plane. I said, "Oh, man, he's flying a plane. Check him out."
I thought he was flying the plane.
No, I'm just along for the ride. I'm not that smart.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's my line.
Yak says happy birthday, Alex.
Yeah. Oh, man. Tell
Hey, how's the honeymooner?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic.
Oh, we got a lot of guys chiming in. Jeff Wadka chiming in. Yeah, chiming in there. You guys both know everybody knows Jeff. Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Johnny, thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, I love
John.
it. I missed it. I was doing something with an electrician. And I looked at the time. I said, "Oh my God, I'm late. I'll be late to my funeral too."
It's already 8 o'clock in your time, right, Johnny?
Yeah.
Oh,
Very
nice.
good.
Yeah.
It's past your bedtime.
Negative. My bedtime's like 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Wow.
So
yeah.
You
So
signed
anyway,
with Matt Blair, Alex.
I'm sorry?
You got with Matt Blair.
I got with Matt Blair, signed with Matt Blair, and he made some calls for me. You know, after I left, since I wasn't drafted, I was signed as a free agent. You know, the Canadian Football League has a draft as well. So I was drafted by Saskatchewan Roughriders. The following day, my rights were traded to Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So Matt gave me an opportunity to go up to compete in Winnipeg. I had made the team, so they give you time. I had made the team. They had Tom Clemens, who was a 15-year veteran at the time, and Tom Mickey. Tom Clemens was a quarterback at Notre Dame before Joe Montana.
Right.
And he was already like a 15-year veteran by the time I got there. By the time they give you time, like a couple, 3 days to go get your affairs in order, come back. And then by the time I left Winnipeg, Manitoba to go get my car in Des Moines, I was already released. This is how cut and dry, you know, professional sports is that I heard it when I came back into Winnipeg. They said, "I'm sorry, you know, we went ahead and we signed somebody else, another quarterback from, you know, that was in the league, a veteran quarterback." So I had no choice. I had to get back on the phone and had to get back to California, get back on the phone, talk to Matt, and I believe he's had me signed with Kansas City. A gentleman by the name of Les Miller was scouting me when he's the director of player personnel from Kansas City Chiefs, and he signed me as a free agent. And you know, I was blessed to have that opportunity. It was during the strike team, so there was a few quarterbacks. Steve DeBerg was a starting quarterback. Frank Sire was the backup guy, and there was a bunch of camp quarterbacks like myself and Matt Stevens and Doug Hudson. So we competed, and then they decided to go strike. And so management went ahead and came up to me and says, "Hey, listen, you're kind of like in the bubble right now. We'd like you to cross the line." And
Right when that I'm not the
there you go.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah. So I was able. I got into one game. I think it was the third game against the Miami Dolphins. I went 9 for 12 for about 109 yards, and they actually kept me on board. So I had 1 year credit as in the NFL, and that didn't last for long. I mean, I went ahead. After that, I went into arena football with the Denver Dynamite. Now I was in Rensselaer, Indiana, Keith. I don't know if you know where Rensselaer is, but I was in training camp with the Denver Dynamites. This is the first year of arena football. So quarterbacks and quarterbacks went both ways. So I was 6'2".
Oh God.
Yeah, 230 pounds, benching 405. So they put me at outside linebacker. I go, "Oh no, this is not for me." I went outside linebacker, and then I was quarterbacking as well. I said, no, I don't want to be the hammer. I'd rather be the nail. And there was a clause in my contract that if an NFL team would have signed you during training camp, then you can go ahead. The NFL contract is greater than the arena football. And the Arizona Cardinals gave me an opportunity. They wanted to sign me. So I ended up leaving after 1 week in training camp with the Denver Dynamites. And then I had 1 day to get home, pack a bag, and the following day I was in Arizona with the Cardinals.
Who was the coach there then?
Gene Stallings was the head coach at Arizona. The head coach from what Kansas City was Frank Gans.
Frank Gans, special teams guy. Yeah.
Special teams guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
World War, I think a Vietnam veteran, and he was on point, hard nosed, firm but fair. But it was a hard nosed coach, and you know he says, hey, if you're on time, you're late. And I learned how to be in meetings, you know, half hour late. I mean, half hour earlier, half hour or 15 minutes early, because that's just the way it was.
Then you spent some time in the Europe League too, right? Your World League.
Frankfurt.
I played with the Frankfurt Galaxy, and I played it at 91 and 92. Jack Alway was our head coach, phenomenal coach. The man had eyes in the back of his head because he was on one side of the field. And I would throw the ball and maybe not follow through. And I don't know how he saw it, but he said, hey, you need to follow through. And Jack was the nicest man and super smart. So I played 91, 92, and I got banged up. The second or third to the last game, I was at the Meadowlands playing against the New Jersey Knights. And big outside linebacker came and hit me. And I suffered a severe hip pointer, and every day after that would have to take medication in order to get on the field. So I was kind of banged up after that year. And I think Kent, you and I talked right after the season, because
we did.
You gave me.
I was just starting over there. Yeah, I was just beginning over there. Yeah.
Yeah, you asked me if I wanted to come and play for you, and I would have.
That would have been weird. That would have been weird.
That would have been great. I would have loved it. I just was so banged up. I was so banged up that I was like, yeah, I just finished playing one season of football, and I was like a pincushion, you know, when I was at Frankfurt. So, you know, you just you wanted some time to rest, and I thought I was going to get an opportunity to go with the Rams because they were showing interest, but the injury kind of ended my career after that. I couldn't bounce back after that. Yeah.
So you get done there, you're back into the United States. Did you go right back to Los Angeles then, or did you get into?
Yeah. So I came back into LA. I think waited a couple. Let's see, no more than a couple. I'd say that was 1992 when that was the last season. After 92, I believe it turned into NFL Europe, but I had no interest in going back to Frankfurt. It's a long ways away, you know, you're away from your family and everything, but I had a great experience, you know. The first year when we were in Frankfurt, it was during the Desert Storm era. We had to get escorted by military police everywhere we go, even to practice. So it was a little bit high security, and the following year we actually saw a portion of the Berlin Wall come down. And it was a great experience. So there was some historic times that we had, and I came into LA and went back, and I started working, you know, and I think it was in 96 is when I met a gal, and then by 1997 my son was born, and then my daughter 2 years was born in 1999. So my family, I started my family, and you know, your priorities start changing. You know, you start focusing on the things that they need. So
now you have 2 grandbabies, right?
I have 3.
3.
So my daughter has 2 of my grandson, a 4-year-old, a 10-month-old grandson, and then my son and his wife just had my granddaughter, and she's like 5 months old. So I'm blessed. My family's growing, and I tell you, I'm so blessed to be able to have grandpa duties. Every opportunity I get to see them, I'm there. So I'm like to spoil them and give them back to their parents.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I can spoil them, give them back, and I can go to happy hour. So, you know, that's the way it works.
You two kind of cross paths a little bit with Kent going out to Germany and coaching football out there, and you know you were about done at that time, and then Kent, you were in the RV world, right?
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
RV world.
And Alex, a few years ago.
That's what you're doing nowadays, right?
So what I am is I work for Camping World, and if I can do a little plug for for Camping World. I worked for the store in La Mirada, California, and we're doing some great things there. And I think it was like 3-4 years ago or something like that. And I can't. You can probably tell the story from your end.
Yeah.
And let them know.
I was with Winnebago, and we were out in Palm Springs, and they had a big dealer days. Had all the national dealers there, and I think he's the VP. He says, "Hey, there's some guys over here, and I think one of them had maybe does some coaching from Mike Thompson RV, and so he said, just come over and talk to him a little bit and do the old football thing." And we start talking. Where are you from? Iowa. Where'd you play? Iowa State. And the guy said, "Do you know Alex Espinoza?" I'm like, "Yeah, I lived with him for a year, and we used to watch Fletch 100 times together." But he said, and he said, "You know Alex, and I'm sure." Just as improbable as you coming to White Toast, Iowa, is like, how does this White Toast, Iowa guy? He thought I could tell you almost thought I was bullshitting. I said, "Yeah, I know Alex," and he picks up his phone, and all of a sudden we're FaceTime, and then I could tell he was like, "Yeah, you do know Alex." So it was I had no idea we were at that time in the same industry. Yeah, and I'm glad to see you're because you're with a great organization, of course. So that was just life intersecting there. I had no idea.
It was amazing because Mike Ansich, who actually made that call, him and I went to high school together. So him and I know each other for 47 years. He was the director of sales and was there with the GM from Mike Thompson. It's just a small world, and that world was getting even smaller. He FaceTimed me. I saw you. I go, "What the heck, Ken? What are you doing? And what are you doing with Mike and Mark and everybody?" It was a nice surprise. So, and I'm still doing it. I'm still working at Camping World, and we're super busy. I had to work a little bit this morning because Kent, in the RV industry, month end
never stops.
Month end is key, and you got to get them over the curb, and it's the numbers. That at the end of the month, you got to get those numbers right. So
right on.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm blessed to keep on doing it, and it pays the bills.
Next week we've got Connor Mobley coming on, and he's the quarterback at Iowa State right now, vying for the number 1 spot, and thought this was a great week with you coming in ahead of him and talk a little bit about that. And what kind of advice would you give Connor going into it? He's going in now where he's going to be competing against 2 other guys to be the starting quarterback. You've done it.
Yeah.
What kind of advice would you give Connor?
I tell you, you go in and you learn as much as you can. Make sure you're early for your meetings, and you can sit at the front of the room and take a lot of notes. And because he's going to go in. I believe Jimmy Rogers has a new system, and he's going to have to go in and start learning the system and try to incorporate his skills to be able to accommodate Jimmy Rogers' system. So I would say just keep pushing, and next thing you know, your opportunity is going to come. And once your opportunity comes in, certainly you got to produce. So just be prepared. Go in, be confident. And do well. Just keep pushing because good things happen to good people.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's from a great program in Iowa, Southeast Polk, won a couple state championships there.
Yeah.
He came in, competed, didn't leave. When the coaching staff left, he stuck around doing the right things right. I admire the young man for that because we've all been through it. And when your coach left, our coaches left. We stuck it out, and great things happened to great people.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You commit, and you stay committed. And he's a winner. He's won 2 state championships, so he knows how to win.
That's right.
So he'll come in and start competing, and eventually things will go his way.
That's right.
That's right.
Should we go to our little rule change?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Alex, we're going to put you on the spot here. And maybe you've watched the show a couple of times, you've seen this or whatever, but maybe better have. But we're going to take about 20 seconds.
Okay.
And you're going to be able to come back, and whatever rule is out there in college athletics, whatever rule is out there, you're king for the day. You can change the rule.
Okay.
Think fast. You got a blitz coming at you, buddy. You better be ready to read.
Yeah, you better read the coverage. Better take a look at that free safety.
Here it comes.
This is the Storm Anchor Amendment, where our guest steps behind the podium and makes one rule change to reshape college sports. No limits, no red tape, just their decree.
Told you it was fast.
That was quick.
Yeah.
That was quick. I think the rule that I would change is that you're only allowed to transfer one time, and then you're binded and committed to that university. And then I would say try to go back to the old ways where they redshirt you, and that's your sacrifice, that you sacrifice that 1 year. So you got 5 years to play 4. And I would say you get a lot of players that are leaving, going to 2, 3, 4 different universities. I know a gentleman that a young kid right now, he's on his 4th university. So it's hard on the program. It's hard on the coaching staff. They're not sure if they're going to have that player the following year. So I would say the rule is to transfer one time, and that's it. And you stay committed. And I think a lot of it has to do with the NIL and who's paying out money and stuff. And again, that NIL, I think it should be a cap. If there's going to be NIL, there should be a cap. You should pay the players a certain amount across the board. When I was in the World League, all the quarterbacks made in the league. There was 30 quarterbacks. There was 10 teams. All of us made the same amount. So none of us were more than the others. And it stayed that way. We didn't have that problem of, getting traded and anything else. So it was consistent across the board.
Well, you got Milan Momcilovic. It's getting ready to sounds like he's getting ready to cash in with the transfer portal. I kind of waver back and forth with Milan just because of his ability to potentially go into the NBA draft, and then you got TJ that can't commit to having the spot because he doesn't know if he's going to be there or not. And then you got the Kentuckys and the Louisvilles and the Arizonas that are hearing up some big numbers. I don't. You can't hold it against them, but some of this transfer stuff that I've seen, and in particular the number of people that have left different schools for different reasons. Yeah, it can't be good for the system. It can't be good for the kids in the long haul. Short term, it's great.
Yeah,
long
there's no
haul,
commitment. There's no commitment, Keith. There's no commitment, and I was a prodigy of the transfer, and I upgraded. I went from one university and I upgraded, and I tell you the 4 years that I was at Iowa State, I made some great friends. And I call them my brothers. They're my Cyclone brothers, and we've been through a lot of stuff, especially winter conditioning. That wasn't easy. You left there, out of breath, but you got better. We were in the trenches together. We sweated together. We weightlifted together. We ran together. Those stadium stairs together. We were brutal. It was brutal times, but and we didn't have the facilities that they have now. No. That Olsen building was at one level, and the AstroTurf was super hard, and but they earned it. And I tell you, it's a beautiful stadium and beautiful facilities. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to getting back there again this year. I think I made it to one game last year, and I'll make it to one this year. It looks like maybe two if the cards fall out right.
Yeah,
we're going to be at the Letter Winners golf outing on June 25th. We're going to do a live show from there, so we're hoping to have a bunch of different guys drop by and and we'll have a tent out there and talking, and we're going to have Kent go show people how to hit a golf ball. And
Nice.
That ain't happening.
Yeah, have a lot of fun with that. You know,
I have golf clubs. They've been in my trunk for 5 years. I haven't brought them out.
Do you have any last minute thoughts, Alex, and last messages you want to give, or anybody that you want to give a shout out to, or anything along those lines? I know we've talked about a lot of guys and different experiences, but
yeah.
If there's people you'd like to specially mention, or just a message to the Iowa State fans, floor is yours, buddy.
I'll tell you what, we touched on this gentleman earlier. Kevin Eggleston has always been near to dear to me, and the Mike Roberts and Shannon Mosleys and the Vince Jaspers and the Jeff Wadkas, Tom Soniaks, Derek Ross. There's a lot of players, Eddie Brown. There's a lot of players that I played with. I had the opportunity, and we became more than just teammates, more than just friends. We're brothers. I don't see you guys as just friends. I see you guys as my brothers, and it's we were there in the trenches together when we had the bare minimum.
Yep.
And we'd go out there and perform, and we did some good things. We did the best we can with what we had.
Yep.
Right on.
Absolutely.
Right on.
I really appreciate you taking the time today to take time out of your birthday and away from your family and spend a few minutes with Kent and I and Chris and the rest of the folks that were able to listen. I was really grateful for Johnny to pop in. But
that was unbelievable. Yeah. I don't know how he did that, but if you know Johnny, he's going to chime in. He'll find a way to get in.
That's exactly
right. He probably hacked the production company and invited himself in. So
somehow I don't think he hacked anything.
I tell you that it was a great surprise though, and I tell you I'm honored to be on this show because we've been through a lot. And here we are, 41 years plus as friends and Cyclone brothers. And I tell you, thank you for the opportunity, and Three Beard Media for this opportunity. Chris Shipley as well. So thank you guys. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Alex,
I always say, from this loyal son and that loyal son, we appreciate you being a loyal son.
Thank you.
Have a great night. Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you. Ken, love you, brother.
Love you, man. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
We're tracking the storm, watching it form from Crutchfield's grind to Troy's 2K storms. Seneca spinning through the rain and roar, turning third and long to forevermore. From Jack's I will to the Campbell years, we build up hope out of heartbreaking tears. Yeah, the line holds strong and the fate's reborn. We're keeping eyes on tomorrow by tracking the storm. Here comes Johnny Orr, fist up in the air. Tonight's show theme on that Hilton stare. Took a quiet Coliseum, turned it into a spare. Where top 25 giants learn to fear this well. Hilton magic swirling like a cyclone wind. We're nine on the pivot, made the rafters spin. Step back, jumper, drive down the lane.